The morning rush at Maplewood Café was in full swing, clinking mugs, hissing coffee machines, and the chatter of regulars filled the air. Emma, a 24-year-old waitress with tired eyes but a warm smile, balanced 3 plates on one arm while taking an order with the other. She wasn't just serving food, she was serving kindness, something her late mother always said was the secret ingredient to life. That's when she noticed him, a man sitting alone at the corner table, staring at his phone with growing frustration. His jacket looked a little worn, his hair slightly messy, and beside him sat a little girl clutching a teddy bear. The child's wide, anxious eyes tugged at Emma's heart. "Excuse me, sir, would you like a refill?" Emma asked gently. He sighed, rubbing his forehead. "Actually, I'm lost. My GPS isn't working, and I'm supposed to drop my daughter off at school before a meeting. I don't know this town at all." Emma crouched beside the little girl, offering her a reassuring smile. "Don't worry, sweetheart. We'll figure it out." Instead of brushing off the stranger, Emma pulled out a notepad and sketched a quick map of the town, circling the school and even jotting down shortcuts. She handed the girl a cookie from the tray. The man looked at her, surprised. "You didn't have to do all this." Emma shrugged. Sometimes people just need a little help. She didn't know then, she had just helped a millionaire CEO. Emma thought little of the encounter after the man and his daughter left. For her, kindness wasn't something to be remembered, it was simply how she lived. But for the man, that small act stayed with him. 2 days later, he returned to the cafe. This time, his jacket was pressed, his hair neatly styled, and there was a different aura about him, calm, confident, and purposeful. Emma almost didn't recognize him until his daughter came running through the door, teddy bear in hand, smiling brightly. "Daddy, it's the cookie lady," she giggled. Emma chuckled. "Back again? Did you find the school okay?" The man nodded. "Yes. Thanks to your map." He hesitated before extending his hand. "I never properly introduced myself. I'm Daniel Carter." The name rang faintly familiar, though Emma couldn't place it. She wiped her hand on her apron before shaking his. "Emma Brooks. Nice to meet you, again." Daniel ordered 2 hot chocolates and, while waiting, watched Emma juggle orders with effortless patience. She always greeted people by name, remembered their favorite drinks, and managed to make every customer feel like they belonged. As Emma dropped off his order, Daniel leaned in slightly. "Most people wouldn't have gone out of their way like you did. You helped me when you didn't even know me." "Why?" Emma gave a simple answer. "Because life's hard enough. If I can make it easier for someone, even for a moment, that's worth it." Daniel studied her for a long second, a flicker of respect in his eyes. He wasn't used to people helping him without expecting something in return. And in that moment, he knew, this waitress was different. The cafe was quieter on Wednesday afternoon, the rush long gone. Emma was wiping down tables when Daniel walked in again, this time alone. He carried himself differently now, not the lost, tired father she first met, but a man whose presence seemed to draw attention without him even trying. "Back so soon?" Emma teased, placing a menu on the counter. Daniel smiled. "Well, your hot chocolate has my daughter convinced this is the best cafe in town." And, he hesitated. "So am I." Emma raised a brow but went back to refilling the sugar jars. Daniel pulled out his phone and laid it on the counter. On the screen was a news article, "Carter Industries CEO expands to New York." A picture of Daniel in a tailored suit accompanied the headline. Emma blinked. "Wait, this is you?" Daniel gave a small nod, almost apologetic. "Guilty." Emma laughed in disbelief. "You mean to tell me I gave directions to a CEO using doodles on a napkin?" "Exactly," Daniel said, chuckling. "And that's what struck me. You didn't know who I was, and you didn't care. You just helped." Emma shook her head, still processing. She had imagined him as a truck driver, maybe a traveling salesman, but a millionaire? It felt surreal. Daniel leaned forward, his tone softening. Emma, in my world, people treat me differently the moment they learn my title. You treated me like a human being, not a headline. That doesn't happen often. For the first time in a long while, Emma saw not a wealthy CEO but simply a single father trying to do right by his daughter. And Daniel saw in Emma something he had been missing for years, genuine kindness without an agenda. Over the next few weeks, Daniel and his daughter, Lily, became regulars at Maplewood Café. Every Saturday morning, without fail, they sat at Emma's table. Lily would chatter about school, proudly showing Emma her drawings, while Daniel listened quietly, sipping his coffee with a kind of peace Emma wasn't used to seeing in businessmen. One morning, Lily leaned across the table and whispered loudly, "Emma, did you know Daddy can buy a whole building?" Emma laughed. "Can he now?" "Well, that's impressive. But you know what's even cooler? Sharing cookies." She slid one across the table to Lily, who grinned. Daniel watched the exchange, his heart softening. "She likes you," he said. Emma smiled. "And I like her too. She reminds me of myself when I was little." That caught Daniel's attention. Emma rarely spoke about herself. Eventually, she admitted she was working 2 jobs to cover rent and her younger brother's college tuition. She brushed it off with a shrug, but Daniel noticed the exhaustion behind her smile. "You do so much for others," he said quietly. "When do you do something for yourself?" Emma avoided his gaze. "I don't have the luxury to think that way. People depend on me." The words lingered in Daniel's mind. Here he was, a man with more wealth than he could spend in a lifetime, and yet he often felt lonely and lost. Meanwhile, this young waitress, with so little, gave everything she had to others without expecting anything back. It was in that moment Daniel realized, Emma wasn't just someone who helped him when he was lost. She was the kind of person who could change lives, including his own. Snowflakes drifted outside the cafe windows, the holiday season just beginning. Emma was clearing tables when Daniel walked in, carrying a small, neatly wrapped box. Lily skipped behind him, her eyes twinkling with excitement. "Morning, Emma," Daniel said warmly. "We brought you something." Emma raised her hands. "Oh, you didn't have to." "But we wanted to," Daniel insisted, sliding the box across the counter. Inside was a silver locket with a tiny engraving, "For someone who makes the world kinder." Emma's throat tightened. "This is beautiful. But why me?" Daniel's expression grew serious. "Because you reminded me of what really matters. I've spent years building companies, chasing success, and somewhere along the way, I forgot the value of simple kindness. You gave me that back, without asking for anything." Emma blinked back tears. "Daniel, I just helped you with directions. Anyone would have done the same." "No," he said firmly. "Not anyone. You treated me like a person when I felt invisible. And for that, I'll always be grateful." Lily tugged Emma's apron. "Daddy says you're our friend now. Can we keep you forever?" Emma knelt down, hugging the little girl. "You already have me, sweetheart." As Daniel watched, he realized he wasn't just thanking a waitress, he was opening his life to someone who truly cared. In Emma's small acts of selflessness, he found more than kindness. He found hope. That day, Emma went back to work with a full heart. She hadn't changed the world. But she had changed someone's world. And sometimes, that was enough. Because kindness, no matter how small, always multiplies.